Hi guys, DeFoffalizer here, and I'm actually what just started this video off by saying I'm a pretty big fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd. I like his reviews of old NES games. They're pretty funny, but I don't subscribe to his channel because there's a ton of filler content, both James and Mike Mondays, and just stuff by Mike Matei, his friend, in general. Mike himself is really not the best reviewer. And this video right here is a prime example of why. In fact, I just saw it and decided to make a video of it. That's how quickly I knew how bad it was.
So I just got Super Mario 3D World. Overall, I think it's a really great game, but there's one thing about it that really ruins it.
Is it something reasonable, like how broken the co-op is and how easy it is to kill your friends? Because that kind of bogged it down for me. In case you guys were wondering, that's the only reason why it made number 10 on my top 10 games of 2013.
Right, the white Tanuki suit. You remember the original Tanuki suit, right? It was one of my favorite suits that originated in Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES. You could swing your tail, break bricks, and even turn into a statue to avoid getting hurt. It was amazing. But now Nintendo's gone and smeared my fond memory of the Tanuki.
You do know that the regular Tanuki suit is in this game too, right?
As with most games, as you play through each stage, it gets more difficult as it progresses. Sometimes you'll make it to a stage that's very difficult, and you might end up dying quite a few times. In Super Mario 3D World, they added something new. Well, it was also in Super Mario 3D Land on the 3DS, but this is the first time I recall seeing it on a console.
You do know that while not the exact same thing, they have super guides like this, and also New Super Mario Bros. Wii, I'm assuming New Super Mario Bros. 2 and U, Super Mario Galaxy 2, and even Donkey Kong Country Returns.
When Mario dies 5 times or more in a level, a block comes up in the beginning of the stage that contains an invincibility leaf. The invincibility leaf gives Mario the white Tanuki suit, which is pretty much just a cheat to get you through the stage because you died too many times.
Some stages are pretty hard. Just because you have trouble in one stage doesn't mean you're going to have trouble in all the stages after it. Some of the stages in this game can be brutal. Not to mention, it's not like you're going to use it on every single stage.
Aw, you can't beat the stage? Here, let's take away all the challenge and let you beat it. This is awful. This destroys everything playing video games is all about.
Really? Being able to skip a really tough stage every now and again destroys everything that playing video games is all about.
Back in the old days, you'd play a game and if it got too hard, well, too bad. You just have to do it again, and again, and again. It was called trial and error. The whole fun of playing games was challenging yourself, improving your skills, and then finally applying those skills that you've learned to defeat the stage.
Maybe that's how it was back in the masochistic NES days, where developers had to rely on making their games insanely difficult instead of being fun. That's the thing, fun. Isn't that kind of what video games is about? Enjoying yourself and not constantly dying over and over and over and over again on the same stage? Also, didn't the Angry Video Game Nerd complain about trial and error in some of his reviews?
Failing is an essential part of any video game. You have to fail to get any sense of accomplishment when you finally do win.
This is starting to sound a lot like the Irate Gamer's review of Kirby's Epic Yarn, only dumber. Don't get me wrong, I like the Irate Gamer, but even I have to admit this is probably the worst video he's ever made. In it, he basically complains about the fact that, oh, you can't die, even though the challenge really isn't in dying, it's about completing the game. And the thing is, this is not nearly as dumb as what you're saying, Mike, because you can't die in this. You can die with the white Tanuki suit, and you have the option, whether or not, to use it.
But the white Tanuki suit just throws that out the window and says, here you go kid, have a freebie. In fact, have it on every stage since you have no skills and you don't want to try. To me, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen incorporated into any video game.
Beyond DLC that does nothing but siphon your money, I'm not talking about good DLC, I'm talking about the stuff that's just there to grab your money. Beyond, I don't know, escort missions, water levels, beyond all the things that the Angry Video Game Nerd has complained about in his game reviews. You find this, an invincibility cheat that lets you go through a level in the game that you're having trouble on, one of the worst things ever implemented in a game.
To be a Mario game is an extra slap in the face. Mario is supposed to be the shining example of greatness in the world of video games, but this may be his lowest point. To be fair, you don't have to get the suit.
Yet for this first half of the video, you were acting like you did. Also, considering some of the stuff he said in this video, I'm surprised he did tell us it was optional.
You can easily just walk by the block and play the game without cheating.
Then do that, instead of making an entire video complaining about its existence.
But just the fact that they even considered giving people the option is still disgusting.
Well, you making a video complaining about an optional super guide and saying it's the worst thing you've ever seen implemented in any video game certainly disgusts me. Seriously, even the Irate Gamer's Epic Yarn review at least had a reason to be made.
Because you know any little kid that plays this game is just going to use the suit to make their way through and not give it a second thought. This everyone's a winner stuff is a bunch of bullshit. If you suck, you should lose. There shouldn't even be an option for that block to appear. Back in the day, when you defeated a hard game, it gave you bragging rights, because you had to do it on your own. Having this in the game takes that away. I sincerely hope that they take this out of any future installments of the Mario games, because it takes the fun out of what otherwise would have been a fun game.
Are you freaking kidding me? The fact that someone, somewhere, could bypass a level that was seriously giving them trouble so they can continue to experience the rest of the game is so bad, it disgusts you so much that it ruins the game for you. God, you are such a jerk. See what I was talking about in top 10 least favorite levels while I was ranting on these people who are so obsessed with challenge and think that if a game's not challenging, then it's automatically crap, and that a super guide or being generous with lives automatically makes the game horrible. See what I've been talking about? I'm sick and tired of everyone's just like, oh, this game is hard. That automatically makes it good. So by that logic, I want to be the guy is a better game than Psychonauts. I get what people are saying. They like to have challenge in their games. I mean, I like Punch-Out and other tough games, but when you're saying a game sucks because of a super guide that lets people get through the level easily and is optional, it is just so stupid. I'm Defaultalizer, and do you guys like these response videos? Because I was thinking of doing more of them.